Okay, so this is going to be a video review on the White Currant Tomato, Solanum pimpinellifolium. Now, I don't know much else about this particular variety of tomato, though I have tried to grow it in the past, didn't have success that one year, and I kind of let it go because I'm growing other tomatoes and I need to focus on them. But this year it's grown in pretty good. And just give you an idea what the plant looks like. This is the plant right here. It's kind of all over the place. It kind of grows very much like the Everglade tomato. It's just wild and grows everywhere. And the leaf type looks like this. Okay, this is what the leaf type looks like. It's a regular leaf. And what else? This is what it looks like on the bract. As you can see, I'm picking some off it and eating them as I go. I'll tell you what they're like once we get up to the the testing table. All right, so they look very much like an Everglade tomato, except they're white. I'll pick one off for you. Okay, so that's what they look like. They're not truly white in nature, but they're bone color, So you can see they go from this look to this look. All right, and there's not much else to show you on this. As you can see, it's doing pretty good, but the leaf mold is starting to come in. Like right here, this is not blight. This is leaf mold. Okay, and the leaf mold is starting to come in. I'm trying to hit it with hydrogen peroxide to put out the spot fires, so to speak. And unfortunately, it's helping, but the leaf mold is really starting to take off. You can see it's doing other damage to the flowers. This white mold gets on the flowers and it just kills all the flowers. So that's an unfortunate thing, but it is what it is, right? So it's starting to kill off my flowers, and I don't know. But anyway, let's pick some of these and we'll go over to the testing table and give it a taste test. Alright, so we're up to the tomato review part here, and what can I say about it? Alright, first of all, it's a Lycopersicon pimpinellifolium. It's a different variety of tomato altogether. It's very much like the Everglade tomato. It can grow out of control. It kind of cross-pollinates with a lot of other tomatoes very easily. So this is generally a tomato you really want to keep by itself. You don't want to grow it with your other tomatoes because it will cross-pollinate and it'll break up your heirloom collection if you're looking to collect heirloom seeds like I do. So yeah, I know I have them growing in my greenhouse, but there's really no insects this year where I can actually say that they're going to cross-pollinate. So I'm not really getting much insect in the greenhouse this year, so I'm not worried about it. But in general, if you're going to grow a lot of these, grow them in an area of your yard by themselves. And you can grow these with the Everglade tomatoes, and they'll cross-pollinate and maybe give you an orange version or something like that. So you can grow it with any of those type of tomatoes. Keep them away from your beefsteaks because you really don't want them to cross-pollinate. Now, it is an indeterminate tomato, and it has been said that these are a lace leaf tomato, but from my observation, it looks more like a regular leaf to me. So we'll just call it regular leaf tomato. So let's try to give you a view as to what the inside looks like. I don't know if you can see this. How's that? Alright, so that's what it looks like on the inside. And here's a look at one of the tomatoes. Break it off. I'll give you one with the top on it. You can see the top is on there. Now these break open very easy, so as you're collecting these tomatoes and putting them in your pail, don't put them in your pocket and don't put them in your apron because they will burst open in your apron. They pop very easily. So put them in a 5-gallon pail and put them down very carefully. I recommend when you do collect them, you collect them by the whole, like right here, you collect them by the whole bract. All right, so you don't want to just start picking them one by one and throwing them in a pail. They burst open way too easily. The bottom of your pail will be covered with seeds. Just pick the bract like that, take it off, and and then separate them once you're inside. They're too delicate. You can see here, even a couple of them bursted right open already. They split right in half already. They break very easily. That's just the nature of these type of tomatoes. The pimpinellifolium tend to want to disperse their seeds by bursting the fruit open and just scattering the seeds everywhere. So just keep that in mind with these particular types of tomatoes. But here's the tomato. Alright, so that's what it looks like. And let's give it a taste test. Oh, I got to give you a bricks. I always forget that. Let's give you the bricks. Wow. The bricks on this is slightly over 10. I'd say almost 10 and a half. That is very high. You know these things are going to be sweet. So let's pick one and eat one. Yep, there's a lot of sugar in these things. They're very, very sweet, but it also has a very high amount of tang to it, but not high enough. So it's very sweet, but not enough tang to really balance it out perfectly. I'm going to say the sweetness part was probably about 40, and the tangy part was probably about 35. Give and take, but somewhere in that range. That's about how they would balance off. They're not quite 50-50 on a tomato, and they're not quite balanced very well. Though I will tell you, they are quite sweet. But this tomato has a funny texture to it. Let me eat this one. Skins are not tough. They're very soft, in fact. They chew up very nicely. They're not tough in any way. They don't get stuck to the roof of your mouth. They chew up very, very easily. The flesh on the inside is almost like a gummy bear type of texture. It's very soft, but then as soon as you chew it, the whole thing turns to a liquid instantaneously. There's almost no time for you to really evaluate what the texture is like. Like I said, it turns to liquid instantly. It doesn't taste anything like the Everglade tomato or any of those other any of the other pimpinellifolium, I believe it's how you say that. It doesn't taste like them. This one has its own flavor. It's very similar to the black cherry, except this balance isn't quite as good as the black cherry. The black cherry's got a perfect balance. So these tomatoes get probably a little better than a half inch, maybe close to 3/4 of an inch in diameter. That's about as big as they get. More, you will get ones that are maybe 3/8 of an inch to about a half of an inch on a regular, like this size right here, and some even smaller like this one. Where are you? Right there. See how small that is? That's like maybe 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch. So you will get that quite commonly, but most of the time they will put out quite a bit of these large tomatoes. Now this is a very heavy producing tomato. Very heavy. It's very aggressive too. Once this tomato plant establishes in your garden or on your property, it will come up every year like a weed. So just be prepared for that. It's very similar to the way the Everglade tomato is. It's very aggressive, and it's very hard to get rid of if you want to get rid of it. I've been trying to get rid of my Everglade tomatoes out of my garden now for a couple of years. I've been, just raking over the soil, try to pull as many up as I can, and they keep coming up in between it like a weed. So I can't even control it anymore. What I would suggest to you is that just grow this. Don't grow it with your other tomatoes. Grow it by yourself. In my particular case, I grew it inside of a controlled environment, so I'm able to control the plant. Plus, I kept it small by keeping it in a small pot, so it doesn't get too big. I just need enough to do a review and get some seed from, and I'm good. I don't need millions and millions of these tomatoes. But it's a very aggressive tomato plant. This thing will absolutely get enormous, and by its second or third year, I won't even be able to control a tomato at some point. So it'll just get very, very aggressive. So just keep that in mind when you're growing them. Also, too, it's a very heavy producing tomato, very, very heavy. This tomato can produce probably 1,000 and upwards, depending on the size of the plant, of tomatoes in the season easily. I have my Everglades tomatoes produce thousands of tomatoes every year. I can't even control those tomatoes anymore. They're absolutely out of control. But this one's is a pimpinellifolium, and that particular variety of tomato, and some people don't consider that to be a tomato, they consider it to be a berry, but that particular variety of tomato will absolutely 100% positively produce thousands of tomatoes once that thing climatizes. So just, again, be wary. The birds love to eat them, and then they eat them and they spread them all over the place. So just keep that in mind. And that's it. That's your tomato review for the White Currant Tomato. I definitely recommend you try these. I will offer seeds to these on my website, and give them a go. I think you'll like them. You can't go wrong with them. They're a very aggressive tomato again, and they're very easy to grow. Once you get this plant, a couple of inches bigger, and it's past all the, the dampening off and all that stuff, this plant will take off like a skyrocket. So definitely give it a go. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.